I was in an absolute panic.
Panic. It was nothing I'd been prepared for.
I was shocked. How could a bank allow all these checks to go through?
How do you scare two mayors and a librarian? That's not the start of a joke. These are the reactions of three different officials when they faced a widespread check-kiting scheme trying to steal from their small city accounts.
It was July 2nd, I believe, when they hit us for $18,000.
All of a sudden, it was about $6,500 that we didn't know if we had.
We lost $92,421.
In an age of hacking and cybercrime, 18 months ago, officials across the state faced an old-fashioned forgery scam. The crimes ranged from a couple $1,000s to up near six figures. A huge crush of checks came in around the holidays in 2018, when everybody, including city clerks, have their minds on other things. In all, 130 cities, towns, and municipal agencies all took a hit, everywhere from Stuttgart to Centerton. It took a while before people noticed the apparent coordination. In most cases, bad checks would get cashed by out-of-state banks. Accountants and clerks would catch them, and that would trigger a report to lawmakers and their state audit committee. They noticed the pattern, and they reached out for help from the Arkansas Municipal League.
We started seeing and hearing reports that checks were beginning to clear accounts that their mayors did not sign.
In Glenwood, Mayor B.T. Smith was new to the job, breathing a sigh of relief a few weeks after his election.
It's a good thing that our bank stood behind us, and we did not lose funds.
Quick thinking helped Donovan Mays in the Stuttgart Public Library avoid becoming a part of a true crime story.
Our branch manager got a call from a bank that asked if we wanted to cash a check that had been written in Alabama.
In Stuttgart and Glenwood and nearly every place else that the crooks hit, banks covered the city. But poor bookkeeping in Clarendon proved costly.
The former clerk did not balance the checkbook on time.
The clerk resigned over this, but Mayor Jim Stinson suddenly faced a crisis unlike any he'd seen in 8 years in office. Banks wouldn't refund the more than $90,000 in cash checks. Checks with an address of 123 Some Street in Sumtown, Texas, with the zip code 12345. A few years earlier, Stinson pushed through a local sales tax. That income cushioned the blow, but significant corners had to be cut.
We have cut our hours down on our police officers. We have had to limit our fuel purchases. The street department, I've asked them to cut back on expenditures.
Clarendon is clearly not a city that can afford to cut corners. The mayor's glad that people are finally taking an interest of this beyond the city limits, and hopes investigators realize that while most cities have been made whole, Clarendon has not.
This should come out in the investigation with the Secret Service. I hope so, and I hope these people are punished.
The Secret Service handles these kinds of crimes. They would only tell me they are investigating but can't share details. In general, they said it shows how vulnerable city accounts can be to cyber crime. In fact, Glenwood would get hit with a ransomware attack last year.
We lost a lot of data that we're having to rebuild.
But any sense of small-town security can't be rebuilt. Everyone is focused now on vigilance.
We're seeing it slow, which is wonderful, and hopefully the measures that they've put in place contributed to that.
Every day we look at every check that's going to process that day, every morning. A lot of trouble, but not near as much trouble as losing $18,000.
It's harrowing to think that any town would have to go through that, because you said there were folks that weren't caught.
They hurt our little city, and we are going to keep moving forward.
For 11 News Investigates, I'm Rolly Hoyt.